call into order the November 10th Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and please start with the roll call.
All right. Aaron Angel?
Here.
Scott Conlon is not here. Thomas Davis is not here. Sam Libby?
Here.
Hannah Mulroy?
Here.
Nicholas Novello?
Here.
Randy Bradshaw Reyes?
Here.
And Council Liaison Sean McCoy cannot be here.
Okay, great. Let's move on to approval of the agenda. No old business this month. 2 new business items. Any amendments you want to make to the agenda? Have a motion to approve it?
Move to put agenda as written.
Great, is there a second?
Second it.
All those in favor? All right, that passed unanimously. Moving on to the approval of the previous month's minutes. Any notes or adjustments you want to make to the previous month's minutes? Factual corrections?
Well, that was good to me.
Yeah.
Motion to approve. Do I have to make a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? All right, I'm gonna vote on that too. Okay. All right, then that's all done. Do we have public input to be heard tonight?
We have 2.
Fantastic, hello.
Hello.
I think Dan is first. Mr. Wolford.
Oh, me, Wolford? I'm Dan Wolford. My address is 1815 3rd Avenue. The first thing I'd like to say is to thank PRAB for holding the line and showing the public the value of open space. And I'm talking in particular on the distal tall disposition. I know tonight you've got a number of acquisitions in front of you that Danielle will be presenting, but one of my questions is, now that I want to say the distal tall is wrapped up, it's probably not. So I'd like to know where the city's at with the conservation easements for granting those on the distal in the tall property. And if we plan on granting the conservation easements on either or both of those properties to Boulder County, that language in that conservation easement clearly states that we will not allow certain activities, or go back to the original ordinance that the only things we allow on that property are included in the ordinance. So I think that's an important factor. However, with the conservation easements that you're going to see tonight, and some feedback that I've gotten from like the city attorney's office, in years past, conservation easements, just granting conservation easements, just needed to go to city council for approval. Now I'm hearing that the city attorney's office has a different perspective on it, and that it should fall under the disposition of open space. So I think a couple questions would be, if you're hearing of 2 conservation easements tonight that are going to be granted without purchases, you're probably, if it's going to fall under the disposition of open space, you're probably going to get referred to hear those again a second time. That's the way the ordinance is written. The other aspect that I'd love to hear is, if that's the case, that all these disposition or the conservation easements prior to this time that were granted by council, are those conservations invalid now? That would be obviously not open space or Parks and Recreation open space staff member it would be the attorney staff. So again, it was back in 2016, if I'm not correct, that Mayor Peck, or Council Peck at the time, started, and it was perceived that any new fee acquisition would be granted a conservation easement to a qualified holder. The other thing that I wanted to let you know is the Friends of Open Space, of which I'm a member, are currently in the process of modifying the language for the disposition of open space. We've had the opportunity to share that language modification with Harold Dominguez, and we've given that language to the open space staff. They are looking at that, reviewing that, we thought it was very important that the staff have the opportunity to look at it and, understand the modifications and include something that we would have forgotten. But hopefully, at some point in time, those modifications will come to the Parks Board for approval and a recommendation to council. So, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. I probably won't stick around. I'll probably watch the video and see what the results were, maybe of my questions that they got answered. But thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. A lot there.
Yeah. Once again.
Yes, as usual. Thanks again. Hi.
Hi, I'm going to be way shorter. I'm Casey Shear, 1623 Atwood Street, and I've applied for some of the open board positions. So I wasn't able to make the last couple of meetings, so I came to observe. That's it.
Cool. Welcome.
Thanks.
All right. That was an important comment to make. You got that on video, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's move on to old business. Oh wait, there's no old business. That's too bad. We'll move on to new business, and we're talking about the park operations service requests. I'm really looking forward to this one. No pressure.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Let me plug in here. And I'll set it up.
Put a bunch of fly rods.
Okay. Evening, everyone. I'm Ben. I am the superintendent of Parks and Forestry. I'm newly promoted back in April. I worked with Dan for many years. If any of you know Timber, he was in the role previously. So I worked underneath him. He's left in January now. I was promoted in April.
Congrats.
Thank you. So it's been a lot, big shoes to fill. You think you know a lot, and then you move up one level, and
Surprise.
it's a whole other world of, of issues and things. But excited to be in that role. Just a little bit of introduction. Been in the city almost 9 years. It'll be 9 years in January coming up. I was originally hired as a horticulture supervisor. So I did a lot of work on water-wise landscaping conversions, organic turf maintenance, big projects like that with national groups. And as I mentioned, I was promoted in April, and I oversee all parks and forestry operations, so 31 employees, all of the trees, all 26,000 plus of them, all the staff that care for those, and then all parks as well. So, just a quick little agenda. We'll talk about service requests and Infor. That's our asset management program. I have this cool new map to show everybody about when assets aren't open. You can pull up this public-facing map and actually tell you what's open and what's not open. And then talk a little bit about total park health, which I'm sure you've heard from David Bell about that, and then base your AI use here next year. So a lot of cool technology in parks. It's no longer just digging holes and mowing landscape. So Infor is the name of the vendor that the city uses. Many different departments use this vendor. Public Works, Next Light, LPC, us, a bunch of us. So it's an asset management program along with work order and then also service requests. And these are what the public use to call in any issues that are out there, potholes, areas not mowed, there's weeds over here, graffiti, toilets running, stuff like that. So actually what I'm going to do is just a quick little snippet here. These are all of our work orders, year over year, and then this calls in each year. We used to, so we first built this thing in 2012, and we used to have a lot of work orders for everything. You know, check this pump motor, grease this thing, check that thing, you know, cover this weekly, irrigation work orders. So it was 20,000 or so a year for 28 people. And then we've been refining that, trying to adjust it so that, you know, stuff won't come out weekly, but every other week or once a month. Try to reduce that just insane amount of information that's hitting. But then what's interesting is our calls each year have gone up and up. I think a couple of reasons the public knows about this process now, which is good. So you're able to call these issues in. It's also, I think, it's new staff that's hired, so they're missing some of the easy things to get out there in the parks. And so it was a combination of that. We were up to 815 at the end of September. I ran those numbers since then. And the highest year was 838. So we're going to easily beat that. But just interesting. I mean, that's about 2 or so calls a week. Or I'm sorry, 2 or so calls a day, every week.
Right, got it.
So,
I'm just wondering, like, there's an obvious trend with work orders going down over the past several years. Can you comment on that?
yeah, that's our own internal process. We're just
Sure.
taking stuff that would generate each week to like pick up trash.
Yeah.
So every week that would generate in one zone. So there's 7 zones in the whole city.
Okay.
In one zone only, there was 81 work orders only for trash removal, plus everything else. So every week, that one zone would get hit with 81 work orders. Every single week, all year long. So then we decided, okay, well, let's make it once a month, and you put all your hours on that.
Okay. So it's just a
work order
difference
each
in
month.
reporting, not
Yeah.
actually less
So
work orders.
took
but-
us from 20,000 down to 8,400.
So you were already gonna do it, and
Yeah.
there was work orders coming, and this is just part of your routine, it's like a work order for brushing your teeth kind of thing?
Yep, and
Okay.
track your hours, your truck or equipment run time. People who work on it tracks their hours at their hourly rate. So at the end of the year, you can pull a report and say we spent X amount of hours doing this. Or if you need to build a new park or a new trail, you can pull this information. So generally it takes 2 people this many hours per year on this many acres to do the maintenance. So this is part of that whole program. But what I know a couple of you are actually more interested in is this service request portion of this.
Mhm.
So I just did a test one this morning, just to get back with what, because what the public sees on their end and what we see on our end is totally different. So my coworker and I actually did this a month ago and showed this to David as well. But so as you come in, this is going to be kind of tricky. We're going to bounce out and we're going to pull this up. So as you log in to the website, you type in the words Service Works, and this site pops up. You pull this up, and in here you can go through if it's a trash issue, parks, forestry, water, stormwater, any of those. And as you enter these things, you click on them, go through each of the prompts, the date, your address, your phone number, all that, and then it will generate you this page right here, and it will give you your number. And so you can actually take this number and type it in, and it'll say, sorry, we're going to hop back and forth. It'll send you an email with the information that, this is your number. whoops, right here, got what you chose, your address, if you had any notes in there. And so then it'll give you this number to type in if you want in your email, and it'll actually show you the status is open. So people are working on it. And then on our end, once we get that call in, this is what it looks like on our end. So we can choose from any one of these categories. Not very good, or either one of them. But we used to always pick problem, investigated, and resolved. The issue is then that automatically sends back to the emailer that your problem has been resolved. So we've actually had people who do this on their phone or at the picnic, call in an issue, and we hit a resolve, and it emails them 2 minutes later, and they're like, I'm looking right at your trash. That is not resolved. So this was the issue with this whole process. So the very long answer is we're going to start using this internal work order has been completed to address your issue. So actually, we are generating work orders to the technicians in the area to go out and do the work. Even if that's a 5-minute job, they're already out in their route, we're still going to pick that as the code. So then on the user's end that's submitted it, they'll have an email that looks like this, and it'll say, process internal work order has been completed to address your issue. The issue with that, though, is that's it. It's over. You can't reopen it to email again or say anything like, we've done this work, it's actually resolved. So what we're hoping is that, see, this is what you'll have if you enter your number in your email. It'll have this in here as your new status, and it'll stay that way forever. Even if you look it up, a year from now, it'll say this right here.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're hoping is that in the future, we're actually looking at other companies that do this type of programs. The city internally is looking at other vendors for asset management that come with this type of process also.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we have a more of a feedback loop of, I can send you a message in real time, so we're working on it, and then it'll be done tomorrow, and then another email that says it's done, so that people know. Otherwise, the only other option is to actually call them back. But once you hit resolve, it goes away, and then you have to actually search calls from that day, if you know the day, try to look it up, find the number, pull it up, and then gather all the information, call them back. So it's a weird process internally that is just not very good.
Right.
But,
I'm going to just pause you if I can.
Yep.
Ben, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board on what we've heard so far? If not, that's okay.
And just to clarify, service requests is part of asset management, which was Infor.
mm-hmm. Yep. The Infor used to be called Hanson. It's all the same program.
Got it. And
Yep.
Hanson.
And so we've worked with Infor, right, / Hanson on ways to potentially solve this issue, and they basically came back and said, no, it's a limitation of the Service Works platform.
Yeah. So what actually really helps is if a person submits their request and puts their email on the actual call-in, because then there's an option where I can type an answer back and it emails you directly.
Oh.
So otherwise, if people just call their phone number or anonymously, then we have to try to find your number, call you back, and then you leave your voicemail and all that fun.
But if you submit it online and provide an email, then
Yep.
you do get sent.
Then you can click a drop menu and it says web, and we can type in a whole, as much as we want. We can attach pictures of it being done if you'd like to,
Oh, wow.
and then email that, and actually email us the person's email.
Mm.
Yet otherwise you just get this a response that looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So the main challenge is specifically people who are calling in,
Uh-huh.
not using the portal. Okay.
yeah, that's,
Do
so,
you know the breakout of how many requests are coming through call versus the portal?
I don't, if I had to
Okay.
guess, it'd probably be 60-40, calls 60,
A little bit more.
emails 40.
Okay.
It's
It's a large
hard to move
material
the other
problem.
way.
So when somebody calls in, a staff person enters the service request,
Uh-huh.
and then that person has no way of.
Yeah, so how it generally works also, yes, there's a phone number you can call if you're out and don't have your phone or email, whatever. You can call a number and actually, a real human will pick it up and take your information and then send it over to us. And if you don't provide them your email or even phone number, it comes over as anonymously or with your name. Or you use the actual portal on the website, and you can enter your address, your email, and all of that, and then it's just easier to follow up on, after we resolve those issues.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're working, we're talking about even just trying to edit which things we can pick. There's a bunch of them on here, but a couple we commonly use are, it's not city maintained. That happens a lot. If you're out in a public area, piece of right of way, you don't know whose it is, you call it in. It's, could be an HOA, business, private residence, or the city. But
Right.
so we have to sift through a lot of that, try to look it up, county assessors layer, do a whole bunch of work to try to figure out if that's ours or not. So that's part of what takes a lot of time on those things. But yeah, this right here, there's a drop menu. So it's to park and pick web, and then you can email back automatically. So yeah, we're going to continue to work on that, trying to make it so that what we pick on our end isn't misleading on public's end.
Specifically, again, for situations where the public is calling
Yep.
directly.
Yeah, or
Okay.
you email it in, pick up the park and like the restroom toilet's running,
Okay.
and you call it and say resolve, because I called my technician who's out, doing his rounds anyway, and I said, hey, stop over, on your way and check this out, and then I hit resolve. Well, if then emails them and says this issue's been resolved, and they're like, no, it's not. I'm looking right at it. So that's the miss that happens.
And there's no process change we can make to not fill in that resolution code.
There, we can delete it, but if we use it, it better be resolved, because that's the way it sits. As soon as you hit resolve, and if you use that code, then it's always in there.
Okay.
So that's why we've changed over to, putting it in internal work order has been
Right.
processed. But then it sits there like that forever also. So you don't know that it's been resolved or not. It's the issue we're trying to fix. How do we follow up without calling 880 people a year?
Mm-hmm.
Which it doesn't sound like a lot, but people know, like, when you're working and everything else.
Well, it assumes that someone's going to pick up and answer right away,
Well,
which
that-
they probably
that
not
also,
in the
yeah.
case. You
Mhm.
have to call them several times and
Yeah,
leave messages and
so.
I get it.
So I know we had a couple of issues with that, but we're looking to try to improve that. And hopefully that's part of that's with possibly a new vendor, because there's kind of new programs out there. Maybe they have a better way to loop both of us in, so we can give like a real time update. Or I know some programs have like a red, yellow, green, as it just moves along.
Can I ask a question? So you
Yeah.
said this is used by multiple departments. To change this, do you have to get everyone to sign on, or can Parks do your own
No.
thing?
Parks has our own codes on there. That's 600 code.
I'm sorry, with the new like a new vendor.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just wondering about how much of a juggernaut it is to move it. So
Right.
do you have to get everybody who does asset management to change, or can Parks?
I think Well, in reality, everybody else is moving, and we're gonna just go with them.
Got it.
They're all the juggernauts moving. And we're
Okay,
just
I know
gonna-
asset
yeah.
management is an issue.
But actually, it's next light and LPC that are trying to move,
Okay.
because this doesn't fully do what they need.
Okay.
So they're trying to move over, and all of the new ones do forestry and parks work, part of their stuff anyway also.
Right.
And I know there's, not to speak out here, but some data integration issues with it, like being
Mhm.
kind of, Hanson's not the most
Yeah.
advanced thing,
It
so
is
you
not
can't
easy.
like use it to inform other systems. And
Yeah, all the new ones have insane reporting and dashboards, and like in real time, you can pull the assets in real time of their health.
Sure.
So if it's new, it's old, you need to replace all that. So for this, you gotta pull all manually and try to read thousands of lines in Excel. It's not easy. So that also is a good segue to this parks closure. So my coworker and I just are huge into GIS.
It's good to see you.
And so David had asked, keep having a lot of calls about, people who want to reserve a park, but they don't know if the restroom's open or vandalized, or if like Thompson's slide is, back yet or not. So we made this map. It basically was spun off of the trail closure maps. We just took that and put every asset, well, not every asset, we put a lot of assets on there that could be used by the public, open or closed. And so, same way, if you go to city website and you type in, where are they? Yeah, so if you go to the city website here, type in playground, it's this trail, playground, and restrooms map. So we're gonna, after this, we're gonna do a public push, for publicity of this, so people know what's actually on here. So you can open this on your mobile device or on a desktop. But here is the actual trails map. A couple things aren't open. If you keep scrolling down, we can try to rework this. But here's the actual map link here. So it pulls this up, and on the left it has every park. And then on the right, I have everything that's not open. Of course, all the restrooms are closed for the winter time. So usually this list is, hopefully, nothing on it, but there's occasionally like car park zip line on the playground. So if you go look at car, so say you're having a party next weekend, you want to go see what's up with car park, there's a lot of red. So the restrooms are closed for the winter, so they should say. They're closed for the season and will reopen. And we'll update this. We're still trying to work on this and add lines and get more information on here. But we entered the actual date that these restrooms open, which is the first Monday in April. And then if you wanted to use the playground, click on the playground. We don't know how long it's going to be closed. We're waiting on parts. We're at the mercy of shipping of specialized zip line parts. And so then it tells you in here that the zip line is non-operational. So we're trying to make it to where you can pull this up and say, oh, okay, only the zip line is not in use. I can use everything else. And then also you can pull the restrooms and see if they aren't open. And then we're trying to expand this to athletic fields, to shelters, down here, these guys, we have skate rink areas, dog parks. Try to add all those in, and then you can just click on each of them and take a look. What?
This is super exciting.
This is the awesome
Fantastic.
It was exciting.
Yep.
Sam, you've been asking for something like this since like the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious what your perspective is to see this. And like, what I mean, not without being too picky, but is there anything
I would
you
never.
like?
I
Oh,
would
no.
never.
No, but
Come on, let's see feedback wise.
it's very, very,
That's great.
the infancy.
Yeah, I think the main thing would be like knowing the last time things were updated as you have them there. Is key, just because I think it's easy for things to get stale, right? Because like it takes a lot of effort to have somebody whose job it is to check all these things and sure that they're not still that way. But this is great.
That's a really good call out. So like it would say like when the staff updated last, so you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like a thing in the corner that said updated, you know,
Mhm.
Right.
9/9/26.
Yes, so you could have a little, yeah.
Last updated,
Uh-huh.
you know, November 5th.
I think it helps when things like the trail closure for the Greenway has like a start and end date. That's good. But like, what happens if the end date is passed? If you see it hasn't been updated since before then, you're probably like, oh, they just haven't gotten to it yet, or it just helps to explain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I think.
The idea of being specific, because waiting for parts is better than unknown. You know, if you're a parent whose kid's bugging you or whatever, it's
That would
like,
have saved Lisa Champ a lot of emails about the Thompson Park slide.
Yeah, and that's what generated this whole idea.
Oh,
It was like, all right, you got to get something public facing.
Yeah.
Sorry, and then you got to get people to know that it actually exists. So that's our next hurdle, is to try to press release this. This is all public facing. What's nice is, our staff can update this instantly. It's not a once a week like other GIS systems are. So we can turn things on and off, green and red at will. So if people come in and there's a restroom damage, we can turn it red. Hour later, it's fixed and turn it right back to green. So.
I'd like to see, Dreamland. I'd like to see like real-time park shelter reservations.
That's
because
what I was gonna say.
I want to know if I can just pop over there right now and we're having a meeting and we want to be outside. Can we go to the park shelter? Is it open? I want to reserve it. I want to spend $200 to just have my meeting over there that we don't have to. Or would like to see, when athletic fields are reserved, because maybe I want to do a pickup soccer game, and if there's a soccer field, that'd be great. Like, just to know, there's one open here, let's go.
Those are great use cases. I'd imagine there's different data sets, right? Because it's like
That's us.
Yeah.
reservation piece. But no, it's a great call out. I mean,
But now you're pros.
Yeah.
So,
We are
no,
pros.
What do you do with that?
no, but maybe someday it will be. Because
Well-
how you can see recreation.gov, I can see, I can't rent that cabin. I can't rent that cabin. Oh, I can in 2 weeks, right? Like,
You can go in and rent a shelter at any time. Most all of them, except for a couple of them are a little more complicated because they're bigger and we have more
To have to
interaction with these
yeah.
guys. But you can do that any time as far as a shelter, and you can see if they're available. So that's in there.
I think what you're saying would be nice is if you went in here and you're like, I'm looking at Thompson Park and I can see the bathrooms closed. Oh, and there's an event, or there is. I go to the athletic field park, right? Like most of the time there's nothing there, but then there's a soccer game and I get all packed up with the dogs to go over there, take a walk, and the soccer game. I don't really want to play. I think that, to your point, maybe like pie in the sky.
Yeah,
So,
like
to her point, maybe there's a
aspiration.
data data integration, just like your
aspirational, not that we're
reservations.
criticizing what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Not that
Oh, no, not at all.
But
exists
like-
currently.
But like how we would
we
use
wouldn't
it.
want to get into a multiple entry situation. That's asking.
More just like
for a little bit.
informational. Like I don't know how that works with like
If
the res.
X can talk to Y, sure. We would like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a-
Or
it's a
maybe-
I
great
think that's what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? It's like you can see
Yeah.
something's reserved, whether it's a park shelter or the park is having an event or a game or whatever. Yeah.
I wonder
Cool.
if you could just link, not necessarily on here, but like, do you want to check if there's a reservation at, like, have an external so you're not trying to combine the two things. Another thing too to consider with like the summer programs that we just heard about last time is if there's going to be a long-standing hold on shelters, then I think that could be on here. If it's like all summer, Monday through Friday, whatever time, the pavilions will be full. I think that would be really nice.
That would be nice because Kanemoto's going to be, Kanemoto's used every day and now it's used it's claimed every day, so that would be really good for people to know.
And it'd help the recreation team too, to not have to kick people out of there all the time.
Deal with disappointed people that are like walking it out.
You're like, I'm sorry, you need to move. So
I agree with you. It will be posted.
Okay.
FYI. Like we post
Yeah.
every reservation. These guys go out and put a posting up. I like the idea of something that's long-term. And third, we're actually looking at a couple different alternatives actually at this point. Just FYI.
Oh, for Kamoto?
For the outdoor day camp.
Okay. Not that I was complaining. I was just
No,
thinking
no.
about. Yeah,
But
I was just
figured
thinking
you
about.
brought it up if you're
yeah,
interested,
it's just something that I
FYI.
see because it's my neighborhood.
Because we're trying to find the best option, and that's a good option, but we have a couple others we're considering too, so
Might be better.
just FYI.
Yeah.
No, I think those are really good suggestions, and I think something we can work towards. This is obviously in infancy right now, but
so cool.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
It's cool.
but I always like the idea of what you were saying, Hannah, is if we can have something that calls out where you can see this, if it's not here, if you're looking for this, click here, and it can just take you into the system, so we're not doing double entry. That's the easiest way.
Yeah.
If they talk to each other, it's a lot nicer, but you know, that
Every
can be a
data
challenge.
integration is like time
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
It's a
We all know about
medium-term
that.
solution.
So,
Yeah.
good ideas,
And-
thank
No,
you.
yeah, it'd be cool.
The other things that we're trying to look at possibly adding in the future is like recreation center each year that it has its downtime for maintenance. Turn that whole building on here red, or
Yeah,
continue
we're
pool.
talking about that
So
too.
people can look
Yeah.
Parks and Recreation wide,
Yeah, rec center's closed for this week.
Yeah. So that's this cool map. And then total park health, just briefly. David, Bill, I'm sure has talked to you all about it in some aspect because he loves it. It's his thing which we really need a handle on. And so we're working on internally. Again, it's all linked to GIS technology. Actually looks very similar to the other one because it's all the same team helping us. But what's nice is with this, we have a mobile app that we can all go out and try to rate every individual asset. There's 4,000 individual assets, so it's not going to be easy. But we have gone out a couple of trainings and done some park areas. So these red dots means that these have been actually looked at and are reviewed. You can click on them, you can see what the rating is, who actually rated it. It's a scale of 4 to 1, so 4 is awesome, 3 is good, 2 is okay, and 1 is pretty much unusable. So everything's on a scale of 1 to 4. So what kind of interesting is our current overall entire park stuff that's been rated is a 2.7, which tells you that's not very good. But if you think about it kind of logically, we've only been assessing parks that we know are up for renewal next year and the year
Right.
after.
Right.
So those are all kind of bad assets right now, which help, which makes the 2.5. If we added in Fox Meadows and Clover and other ones, it would up that score obviously. But
How often are these assets rated and are the parks checked?
so we're doing these currently each day. Actually, we're just picking random areas and going out and rating. But if you look, there are all these dots, and only a couple areas have been done, and like nothing else southwest, south end, far out east or up northeast. But we're gonna try to break it up into like actual terms that we can actually manage to do. One idea is to take all 41 employees under David in parks and sign them all parked individually and go do it. Because there's 42 parks out there. the other thing is just try to have like 8 of us do, 5 each, but that takes quite a while. Like this little part right here, Valley, took me almost an hour to do. You have to walk.
Me too.
Yep, you have to walk. You gotta see the bench, the trash can, the playground, turf area, and pull each one individually. Make sure that that's the one you're looking at, and then rate it. There's a whole drop menu, process it.
Then take a picture.
Yep, take a picture and then upload it.
It's a lot of clicks.
And then you gotta look at the next one and go to the next one, the next one, the next one, and it eats your battery on your phone like crazy. So this one, not that many assets. If you look at like Roosevelt, as you can imagine, it's crazy. So every individual landscape bed has them. So every light pole, bench, trash can, sign, parking sign, entry sign, all those things are on here.
Whoever gets that one drew the short straw.
Yeah, and used to do all the trees also, and then we thought it over and said, you know what, forestry already has their ratings, so we pulled all those off. But otherwise this would have been 20-some thousand more. But
we're all trying to figure out the best balance of being out there and doing it.
There's the LDPA.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's up for it, but it's to consider walking sandstone. Is like if Valley took an hour, sandstone might be a whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's daunting when you got other stuff to do.
And several times, you need to do it ongoing, kind of, to.
And I also talked about frequency.
Yeah, so David, he wants to get a snapshot, right now of what, all the assets are condition-wise, and that goes with what Stephanie's trying to work is of, the actual renewals. And we have a list based on years in 4, so that's trying to use that and this to say, is this really the next park to renew, or can we do like a restroom here and then everything else is a 4 that automatically moves up. So this helps with that whole idea of renewals. So
Can I ask maybe a technical question, but is this like geotagging where you're standing, or are you guys putting the dot there?
oh no, it's
It's saying you're standing at a gas. You don't have to be like drag and drop a
both.
garbage
So
can.
this asset is already there. It's already in our GIS, and then it also takes where you are currently at,
Got it.
and then you say, yep, this is the bench I'm
Sometimes you
looking
kind of
at.
have
Just
to
in
move
case
a
that
little
trash
bit
can
because there's
is
two
moved or
things
something.
close to each other and figure out which one.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
light pole and a trash can. And
Okay.
Yeah.
But you
Oh, yeah.
had an asset map
Yeah.
already, but there's also a geotagging or whatever the term is.
Yep.
Okay.
So every asset has a cost tied to it, and the year it's installed, and later on it. So you can pull a whole park
Wow.
and say this will be $2 million, to do the whole thing with playground, the restroom, the shelter, all that stuff. So that's what that things we're group and mine are trying to work on together to team up on. It's a lot of work.
So I can see how the data collection, the entry, is very time consuming and challenging. The benefit here, though, is that it gives us a window into what we're accomplishing as a city and improving our parks over time, right? So it'll get really interesting next year, or in 6 months when we do whatever the frequency is going to be. Being mindful of how much goes into that, when we can see what improvements we've made or areas that we need to work on. And so I hope this sticks around, this process, because I do think that this is the right direction to get a better handle of what work we have outstanding and get a little more organized about how we're putting resources against all of the assets that the city has control over. So
that's exactly it. It's trying to find out what we have in what condition and how much money we would likely need to improve these.
Right.
Everything from a 2 to a 3, or certain areas from 3 to a 4, or from a 1. That's unusable.
I like the average asset rating overall, but I think it doesn't tell you that much. I would say one thing is I would want to see the average asset rating for each park broken out. right? If you
Which-
don't have that already, I'm sure you do. If you click into it, it shows that, right?
Yeah.
Like all the slides are failing and all
So
the
right there.
parks. So
Right.
we need a new slide vendor.
I would want to see the list all together, because well, at least because then we can see, okay, these 5 parks are all below a 2, sub 2, so like we need to be doing something about those,
Yeah.
right?
We click on Valley currently, and it's a 1.8.
Is this the lowest one?
Mhm.
Okay. yeah.
Currently.
Figure.
So what's actually really interesting is we all had the idea that it's about a 2. And then we all went out and rated it, and it's a 1.8.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's exactly what all of us.
It's up for renewal.
There's playground's in horrible condition, and there's a lot of assets in there that are old. So.
I have a cool idea, but you might not think it's cool. It's okay. Yeah, I think it's cool, and it might be for future, not for the first rating of assets, because that needs professionals to make the baseline. But I've always thought that you could have families doing ongoing, like families are in these parks, like living in these parks. And they, they could be the Ranger family, the Kanemoto Junior Rangers, and the Angel family is the Kanemoto Junior Rangers for this year, and they check the park like every week because they're going every day. There's the families that use the parks every day, and it would save you all time. They're the ones that. Because I think there's a lot of people that use parks every day that don't really know about ServiceNow and don't know about service. I mean, I saw a situation that needed taken care of right now. I didn't think about calling ServiceWorks. I called Roosevelt, or not Roosevelt, the Memorial Building, because I knew they'd be open. I was like, and I'm on the Parks Board, you know what I mean? So, but if you had Ranger families, I don't know, that took care of it, that adopted a park a little more than the Adopt a Park litter patrol, like really more meaningful than that. I think it might be cool, and I think Taylor's up to that job.
I like where you're going with this. I think the challenge would be like the rating system is a little bit subjective, and then you'd have to do some training.
Yeah, you'd have to do it. Yeah, you have Ranger family onboarding. Every year you have Ranger family onboarding, and the families do their little Ranger family onboarding, and there's free childcare in the Memorial Building while the parents are onboarding. It'd be kind of fun. It's just an idea, and I think it's cool.
It's sort of like, sorry, I don't know if talk, but it's sort of like citizen scientist type of thing, right? The idea is like crowdsourcing, but having like an identified and a trained group of people. It has been super successful in other areas. Citizen scientists.
That is exactly what I was thinking of. So I don't know, it's just an idea. Someday put needles around in the needle.
Yep.
All right, Ben. What else we have here?
I'm over my half hour, but just my last piece is Placer AI. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, if David's mentioned it, but it's a technology to help track where people are, and how long they're there, how often people visit things from Parks World, and it really help us to understand public use of each of our parks, because we just have an idea. This is the most heavily used park. Well, is it really? Trash-wise, possibly, but you don't know if that's actually accurate or not. Or if we're putting out portable restrooms or putting empty trash every day, every week, is this park area actually being used? Can we, skip it and have it, every other day or once a week? And so this technology really helps, for parks at least, to actually give us information of, user park use, where they're at, how often they're there, how long they're there, where they head afterward. Just all kinds of awesome information. But this will help us to really hone in our budget that's tight as it is, but then try to use it even more efficiently than
certainly interesting.
Than we do right now.
Getting more sophisticated about.
It's a citywide big deal. This is something we're already using. We've been wanting it for how many people are actually at our events, not how many we think. And so, for example, we've figured out that the Halloween parade is about 25,000 in the downtown corridor during that. The Christmas holiday parade is about 29,000, and you add about another 3,000 to 4,000 in Roosevelt Park also. So those are examples we've been guessing, really just guessing on some of those.
Right.
And now we can really look at it exactly, but we can also tell where people are going afterwards, what restaurants they're going to, if they're going to restaurants, where they're coming from, how many are from in town, how many are from out of town. It's fascinating. Certainly, we're not the only folks in the city looking at this. I mean, we're looking at the ice climbing and where did those folks come from and where did they go afterwards when they left? Because that's a big deal to if the city wants to invest in that. Where did they go to town and spend money, or did they head right back out to the freeway? That's just picking an example out. It's fascinating.
Tournaments, athletic tournaments will be good to know where.
It's going to be a large project, but I want to delve into the 4th of July tournament. We know that's 1,000 people that come into town and stay here for a week. So where are they going? And where are they eating? And all of those things to help sell the story of the impact. That's how we look at it. But also to tell us, again, like these guys, where might resources go? So, and again, this is other parts in the city are really jumping on board this too, as far as where to put resources, where to send our marketing, things like that. It's very fascinating, a little bit scary.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's my first thought.
The
That is cool.
police chief saw himself because his phone is from a small county in Georgia, and so at the 4th of July, it will show like zip codes for things, and it showed so that's actually, he knew that was him. In general, you don't know. There is no bulk data, or there is no specific data there. He just happened to be able to find himself because he's the only one in town from that one county in Georgia during that event. So, and it uses all sorts of algorithms. We did try to look at how many people walked into the rec center. It was hugely off, based on the fact that we know exactly how many people passed in and paid to get in to the person, and it was reporting under by 100,000. So in this particular case, whatever it's doing is the algorithm's not right, and so then we'll go back and work with them, and they'll maybe change some parameters to try to, because it extrapolates like kids. And,
people who don't have phones.
Yeah, people who don't have phones. So it's fascinating though, for sure.
All right.
Yep.
That is interesting. Thank you again, Ben. This was very helpful.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
I ran a little late, but
No worries, interesting, thank you.
That's on me.
I could talk all day.
We're going to move on to the other new business topic. The Bigelow property purchase potential. I'm ready
Hi, Crab.
when you are.
Um,
We're looking at this.
I don't have a fancy presentation like Ben. I just wanted to,
James, what I didn't want to say.
oh no, I need to use the correct keyboard to do that. So, I wanted to speak with you about purchasing the Bigelow property. So I'm gonna pull up a couple of maps so that you know what I'm talking about. Wait, where did my, I have no idea what that kind of thing in Longmont. What?
Bamboo.
Bamboo screensaver. Your screensaver.
I didn't look up. What was the screen?
Humongous bamboo.
It's beautiful. That's the open space. Named open space. Okay, so just as a reminder, all of this land is city-owned land. So we have Sandstone Ranch up here. This is the Tall property. Open Space owns this area on the side and this 40 up on top. This is the distal open space going up into here and connecting to Sandstone Ranch. We have the Sherwood open space, and then in between our Sherwood open space and our distal open space are these parcels that are privately owned by the Bigelow family. So there's one main big parcel, which is about 15 acres, and altogether they add up to just shy of 17 acres. So now I'm just going to zoom in so you can see. So if you zoom in onto that yellow Bigelow, this is an up close of those 4 parcels. Parcel 1 is the big triangle that we saw, and then these little skinny guys here, which are parcels 2 through 4. So given where we are in the year, and given everything that went on with just everything throughout the year, we're in a position where open space is now looking to purchase these Bigelow parcels. As you know, the Bigelow family approached the city early in 2025 asking if there were an interest in purchasing these parcels. The city was interested. What has changed is that this is now the open space fund that would be looking to purchase these parcels. And what we would also do as the open space fund is purchase the fee simple parcels, and then we would like to partner with Boulder County to encumber the property with a conservation easement. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. That's the changed circumstance, that this is now open space looking to purchase this. And the reason I show you this map with the distal open space and the Sherwood open space and sandstone nature area up here and just all this city land, you can see that it's a little bit of a missing whole puzzle piece for the open space program. And being adjacent to these 2 open spaces. So it is something that makes sense for open space, and it is in the St. Vrain and Boulder Creek corridors here. And so it just sort of shores up more city ownership in the area, and then encumbering it with a conservation easement with our partner Boulder County helps protect the conservation values of this acquisition, which include prime ag land, scenic view shed, wildlife habitat, and more. So that is what staff is hoping to take to City Council yet this year. And I wanted to speak with you about it first and see if you had questions, see if you would be interested in recommending this acquisition to City Council. That's the end of my spiel. So.
Sometimes I'll take a pause to see if there's any questions from the group before I start talking. Please.
Very, very cool. How is a price set for this property?
The price was set prior to open space coming in and becoming the fund that would purchase the property. So
set by the city, by the seller?
It was set by the city's the sellers and the predecessor to our department, the utility department. It was negotiated between the sellers and the city prior to open space being the fund that would buy it. Yes, in 2025, okay. Correct, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, that was
makes sense. I get it now. Yeah, I get it now. Do you know how that kind of price is established?
No, I don't.
Okay. How is it established for direct open space purchases? Like if you guys were just doing it directly without that background?
Typically, we if I am the open space manager and we're looking at an acquisition deal, I will typically do a appraisal of the land. So unless there's a recent appraisal on file for some reason, if the deal had been going before and failed for some reason in the past, and I don't need to do that, but if we're just starting from square one on a brand new acquisition, part of the due diligence process would be to appraise the property for its fair market value.
And you know if that was done? by utilities?
I do not believe it was done by utilities. I mean, the other way to do it, I mean, so for in this area, there's so much land owned and recent sales that, you know, the other way to assess fair market value is instead of paying for an appraisal is you can get a broker opinion of sale. You can look at recent sales in the area, and if you and the seller have a conversation about that and it makes sense, then, you know.
I just have no way of assessing if it's a good deal or not for the city. They pay $7 a year in taxes right now. It's classified as waste property by Will County. So I don't know if it's worth that much. If you're asking for our input, I just want money to buy for a property that has no access and is next to a gravel site, an asphalt processing site. Now for the city to fill in open space has a lot of value, right, to make it contiguous. But just to understand the cost to value ratio is difficult without having an assessment like that. It seems like a great deal for the landowner, pretty worthless piece of property that they're gonna get $1.5 million for, but I don't know how much that compares to other properties nearby that can purchase.
Well, we're purchasing it for just shy of $600,000.
Plus 1.5.
Not $1.5 million.
Oh, okay.
If that helps. If that helps.
Okay. I guess the same thing applies. I just don't know what the valuation is, how we look at that.
Well, I mean, part of open spaces calculus around this is that, you know, this map, this is a hole in our acquisition area. So having this land being privately owned, surrounded by open space, is not as ideal as having this be open space as well. And then for us, it's an opportunity to encumber it with a conservation easement, which, you know, further protects it in perpetuity, and protects it as is, and, you know, so that it won't be developed, but it will be open space in the future.
Yeah. So the assessment of staff is that this is a good price and is an appropriate purchase?
Yes.
Or you wouldn't be proceeding with it?
Yes, and you
it
know...
It feels like you're being pushed into it kind of by the utilities, not like by funding.
No, this is something that has been on open spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole area is very high on the City of Longmont open spaces list to protect, just because of the creek corridor and the wildlife habitat and the view sheds. And, you know, what I can say to you about the price is that it's never going to get cheaper in the future.
Mm-hmm.
If open space has this opportunity today, and then we walk away from it and the family comes back in 2026, it's very likely that the price would be higher.
Like I said, I'm supportive of it. I just want to elicit that kind of feedback from you guys, is how you talk about the value of this is really important. And everything you just said is an argument as to why it's important, but I want to make sure that comes across to the public when we talk about these things, is like, this is a key part of filling in a long-term plan for the city of this area being dedicated not only to open space, but to long-term fee simple ownership and conservation easement open space. Like it's an important narrative, I think, where if it's presented just as there's a space available, we're purchasing it for X dollars, it doesn't have that context.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any others?
I guess I agree that like it would be nice to have some sort of point of reference of like it's typical for this kind of land to sell for $50,000 an acre or whatever. To his point is, you know, it has value, but should that value be $50,000 or $600,000 or $1 million? So I guess I kind of agree with the lack point of reference, I guess. But the other thing, I was just looking at the Weld County parcel map, and it shows a couple of these parcels already under City of Longmont ownership.
Yes. So let me go
Of the
back.
4.
No, there's a teensy little triangle right here, about this big, that is owned by the City of Longmont.
You can park your bicycle there when you go.
Lemonade stand
You
there.
have to make sure that you do your research and make sure that everything is accurate, that is uploaded onto the assessor website.
Okay.
So you might be talking about this little guy. That is owned by the city.
Okay.
Wouldn't pay for that one. Just kidding.
Per square inch, what did we pay for that?
So the sandy stuff right here, that's toll, right?
That's distal.
Oh, that's distal,
the
sorry.
City of Longmont.
Distal is not as distant as toll.
That's right here, as you can
Yeah.
see it. Under
Okay. Yeah.
Say a little
This is toll.
And then is this highway, the line underneath this, is this Highway 52 right there?
This right here is County Road 20 and a half.
Oh,
in
20 and a
Walton
half.
County.
Okay, I'm just like getting confused where it is because you like pointed up and like, I don't see Walmart anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
over there, yeah.
So
Okay.
this is Highway 66.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. This
Okay.
Highway 66 is off the map.
Yeah, that's one, that's
This
Ken
is-
Pratt.
That's
This
119.
Yeah.
There's Walmart.
Okay.
Thanks for that, right?
No, but like then it tells me that I'm at Sandstone Ranch, and then if I'm standing on the hill, I'm which direction I'm looking towards, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And so
Yeah.
I want to know, like, you know, is there a danger of private ownership? Like, is there like, could they do something bad there? Like, I mean, not like, but like, could they do something that would be super negative for us? Is that like a danger there that we?
You mean the sellers that were purchasing it from?
Yeah, let's say we didn't purchase it, and then they're like, but I want to turn it into a bomb factory, or you know what I mean, I don't know, but like something fracky. You can't frack because it's like
I think what the sellers
it's an
in the past had imagined this as is residential sites.
okay.
And so you can't just make it into whatever without going through certain county processes, and so if that answers your question.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get across poorly. And then can we see another picture? Can you go back to the other picture of it so we can look at it? Okay. So right now it's mostly agricultural fields with
Right
some
now
ditch?
it is just unused land. You can see
Okay.
it looks like prairie dog activity here.
Okay.
But if you pull up
Right.
if you pull up a map, an NRCS state map of prime agricultural soils, this is in that area of Weld County.
Thanks.
Can I ask about the easement? So I think there's, if you go back to the other maps, sorry, maybe switch. When we're seeing like county, city-owned land, I think there's 3 categories of land in here. There's city-owned land by other funds, city-owned land by open space fund, and city-owned land by open space fund that has a conservation easement on it. Those would be 3 different types, right? Because not all open space fund has a conservation easement on it. Like Distal didn't have that.
That is correct. Distal does not.
So
So yes, that's correct.
that's for one way to think about it. You're asking about the easement as well. It says that the plan is to ask the county to take an easement on that property.
Yeah.
How did you guys decide that, or how does that come about?
Well, that is how the open space program would like to move forward with all acquisitions. It's our ideal way. If we could purchase a property for open space and simultaneously or contemporaneously encumber it with a conservation easement, that's what would be ideal. We do have properties on this map like Distal, like Tull, that are portions of Tull that are open space properties not encumbered with a conservation easement, but we do have the goal of getting conservation easements on those properties, working with partners and continuing to do that work such that all city open space property is encumbered with a conservation easement. And when we heard the public comment earlier, Dan Wolford was talking about city direction back in 2015 to do this specifically.
So these would have maybe just predated that direction where we were, at one point, we were buying properties with open space funds, but not doing that. Like
Well, partly too is, remember in 2024, the city passed the open space tax in perpetuity. That was the open space program's 24th year in existence, which, and seems like a long time. The program started in 2000, but as open space programs go around the Front Range, it's a very young program. And until I became the open space manager 2.5 years ago, we had 1 person. We have myself plus 5 staff. We have Sarah Kreitja, who is in charge of our conservation easement program, we've never had that capacity before. So with one person running our whole program, and with acquisitions coming up more frequently than they do today, staff was at capacity doing everything that they could. And so it is true that we purchased open spaces without being able to simultaneously encumber them with conservation easements so that we could get those acquisitions completed.
And do you think that doing it at time of fee simple purchase is going to reduce the issues around disposition questions like Dan brought up?
Yeah, so in this scenario, because we do not currently own the fee simple land of these parcels, encumbering it with a conservation easement contemporaneously or at the same time or close to time does not trigger Chapter 1452 of our code, disposition of open space, such that we would have to have a public hearing, have council refer it to PRAP, the entire process that we kind of did earlier this year with other matters.
Which will happen if, for example, you pursued a conservation easement on the remaining portion of Tull, for example. Do you think that would go through that process?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been, yes.
Cool.
So, Jane Moore, please.
Always more. Keep going.
I'm glad you talked about the one-person department, because
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to ask about, which was Mr. Wolford's comments from the beginning of the meeting during the public event to be heard. Your reactions to some of the things that he had brought up. Kind of curious how you think about some of that stuff. Do you have any initial reactions from what he had brought up in his public event to be heard?
Can you be more specific?
Well,
he did bring up
vague.
quite a few issues.
Yeah. So, do you have any comments on?
I'm not surprised by anything
Okay.
that he brought up. I think they're all relevant issues. I think they're all important issues. So, I appreciate the comment.
Okay. That's all you can add. Okay.
If you will ask me something more specific, I can answer more specifically. I'm not trying to obfuscate or be vague.
No, of course not. Of course not. I think I'm looking for sentiment, and I think you answered that. You were like, these are valid concerns, but you don't have any other comments beyond that, and that's okay.
I guess I have a specific question.
Yeah.
He said this group gave a new disposition of open space language to staff to review.
Yeah.
Do we have an idea of what that timeline might look like for coming, if it's coming back to us or not, or coming to us, not coming to us? Just curious.
It will likely happen pretty quickly in the new year.
Okay.
That something would come back to be discussed with PRAB around the disposition of open space code.
Okay. Thank you.
So what do you want from us?
I was going to
right
say
now?
the same thing, Rick.
Yeah,
So
what
you
do
had
want from
mentioned potentially, having a vote. I think Dan brought up a good point too, that this is likely, we don't know for sure, City Council may refer this issue to PRAB directly, but are you looking for something different before that time?
Well, I wanted to take the opportunity to say the city, just like earlier this year, has been looking to close on this acquisition of the Bigelow parcels.
Mm-hmm.
But something significant that has changed is that the Open Space Fund is now looking to purchase these parcels. And as such, to use these parcels as open space, to protect them as open space, to encumber them with the CE and protect them in perpetuity. So that's a change. That's different than what you had heard earlier this year. So I wanted to make sure that was said. And if you had questions around that we talked about it. And then if you think that if you feel that this is something that the open space division should pursue, I'm just asking that if you recommended it to City Council, if you voted on that it would be a stronger, I would just be sitting, with your support as opposed to not.
Right.
I think it's not a formal referral to PRAB, but an ask for support through motion. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I misstated.
No, not at all. I think I'm looking more so, is it,
I just want to understand.
is it right, is it better to take action now or to, hold for city council to refer to us for more?
So I think that city council is not going to refer it back to you because this is not coming to city council.
You're not sure about that, yeah. Okay.
This is not a disposition of open space.
Right.
Because we are purchasing, because we don't own the fee simple property. This is not like Distal. If I were to come back to you and say, open space has found a partner, we want to now encumber Distal open space with a conservation easement, that was purchased in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Per our code, that would have to go through the disposition of open space process, meaning we would take it to council,
right.
They would refer it to PRAB, we would come and have a public hearing with PRAB, PRAB would make a recommendation, then it would go back to city council for approval or not.
Or not, right.
In this case, the conservation easement is being contemplated contemporaneously or at the same time or close in time to the purchase of the fee simple parcels.
Okay.
So it doesn't
So it does not trigger the chapter 14.52 disposition of open space in our code.
If we want to put our stamp of approval on it, this is our chance, is what you're saying. Our like if we want to say, go team, this is what we want, this is the time to say go team.
Correct.
Okay.
And as a reminder, when we took this to council initially, that was back in June.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it was set up at the time was that the mayor was going to sign the purchase and sale agreement, and council had approved that to move forward with the acquisition. But it's changed that open space is going to purchase it, and so we're bringing it back to city council because of that piece, and it's an opportunity to
I see.
It's coming back as the same item but a different, it's a corrected item, I guess.
Yeah.
If one department is gonna buy this property, I think open space makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
With the direction, the land around it, my personal hope that Distal does return to open space after. So I'm all for this and I'm excited. And I get that it will be a stronger argument if you go and say, I brought this to PRAB. And
would you like to make a motion?
That's what I was going to do. Is it time for me to say?
Since you're
Or do you
yeah.
want to do it? And then I'll second it. I move that,
Yeah. Well, why don't you do it and I'll second
Okay.
You can do it. Okay.
I always do it.
I want to get ready.
I'll tell you. And then somebody's like, no, wait,
You
we
got
can't
it.
do it like that. We have to
We put your
revote.
name on the.
Yeah,
Right
but
there.
so
No pressure.
do you want to do it wrong first?
Do it right first.
Or do it right first. But
I'm just trying to
it's
think of
okay
the
to
exact
do it wrong.
words.
That's okay. Just take a second.
Yeah, it's
Fix
okay.
it.
And if you
Yeah.
get it wrong, that's what I'm saying. You can get it wrong, and then we just fix it. And
Okay. I want to put forth a motion to give PRAB's approval, support,
Good word.
and recommendation that Open Space purchases the Bigelow property.
I'd like to second that motion.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what I said. Stumbled through it.
She's got it.
That was great.
Yeah.
All those in favor of that? There's 4. Okay, here we are. That's unanimous. There you go. We go team. Part of this. Okay. Thank you again for your patience.
Sorry, just one comment after that. I don't want to hold the motion. I think following up when you put that to council and talking about the evaluation process is valuable. I think they'll have questions about that. I still feel like it's really hard to assess the value, based on a lot of intangibles.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be helpful to maybe compare to other open space acquisitions that have been made over the past few years. There's not a lot of them, but I think for the city to know what it's getting for its money. It's just hard to compare that because it's hard to value those things versus the valuation the county ascribes to it. So I think it's great. I think it's cool if you can figure out getting the simultaneous easement from the county. That doesn't make you drag it on for too long. That can be. It'll be good.
Thanks.
Good, thank you.
Makes sense. I was just gonna say thank you for your patience while I was asking you all those questions of like,
Of course.
where are we on the map? Okay,
Of course.
all right.
It did sound like we were all like, we don't want this, but we were just,
Where's
making you
Walmart?
I think it was more so what is this?
Yeah,
What is
uh,
this? What's happening?
all right, fair.
Now we like it. Good job.
Any other last thoughts on this, or you got what you need and you're gonna run with it now?
Any other last thoughts from me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. Okay, we're gonna move on with our agenda then. We're gonna open to items in the packet. Who's got discussion from items in the packet?
Nobody? Maybe I prefer came and
I think so.
Yeah, I didn't have anything either when I looked at it.
Yeah.
All right,
That's great.
nothing to call out. Second call on that? Okay, I'm pausing here. All right, nothing there. Items from staff. Okay, we covered.
I will bring up, with all honesty, for December. Currently, we don't have anything for December. We don't have anything specific to bring. So I was going to put that out there for you guys. If we have a meeting, we will absolutely come up with pertinent stuff, and we will have something for you, 100%. So, but currently, we do not have anything that has to get done in December. So, if you do choose to not have that meeting, is that not the end of the world? I want to put that out there, but please make clear we are absolutely fine with having a meeting. So,
But we need to choose.
it's up
to us.
You don't have to choose anything because we're going to have the meeting unless you
Oh, I
choose
see.
not to.
I see.
So, yeah, that would be something you guys choose not to do.
We will be welcoming new members,
right.
and so I think that
That's
might
January.
be. Oh, okay.
That's January.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because then I was like, well,
Yeah, no,
we
that
could.
would
We
be,
could
January's
do.
a very busy meeting.
Okay, I was gonna say we could do a field trip at that point in time, like a little field trip to welcome in members. Like maybe we all go skating.
Oh, that's really cute.
But not
Bad.
December.
Now, can I ask a question in terms of the new council members being sat? McCoy is not on council after this term?
No, Sean,
He's
Yeah,
staying,
yeah,
okay. I always
he's
get a little
still-
confused on who's
and I would,
coming in, who's
I
going,
would
to be
expect
honest.
he still wants to.
Yeah, okay, good. I thought for some reason he was done. Okay. And so those are my questions.
Okay,
They're gonna get sat in.
that's all.
So
December.
we had talked in the vice chair meeting, potentially looking into like 2026 planning.
And that would certainly be something we come up with sometime.
We can have some discussion on that if the group is interested, unless there's concern over that.
And sometimes it's the holidays for people, so that's why I wanted to put that possibility
Okay.
out there. That would absolutely be one of the topics we would, because that's something,
Yeah.
to me, trying to come up with. I look at budget, right, and we always, all of this group since I've been here, we struggle with trying to have a correct timeline for feedback for budget, and I always feel like we're crunched on that. And this year was a different situation for obvious reasons, but that might be a situation where we can start to talk about, that timeline and what that would look like for us for the 27.
2027.
It's like
right?
March 26th, you have to have your
Yeah.
initial
Right.
stuff.
Right.
It's May, but we've got a lot of things figured out. By
Feels
the
like you
end of
just
March.
finished one and you start the next,
Yeah,
right? So,
it
okay.
certainly does, so.
Okay, I don't have an objection. I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, but
Again, I don't
I'm
wanna-
personally around.
The other thing that we have done in the past is a year in review. I think we've done those in January or February
Yeah,
though.
it's so we can get through the final have.
But we could
picture
try to
numbers.
move that up.
We could do items.
That would be
We could
difficult
do
for
discussion,
staff.
But you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah, we
do,
need the end of the year
End of
numbers.
year
to
stuff.
actually-
In December, we're finalizing numbers, and I think in 2025, we even did our end of year,
it was
2024, in March.
Right.
You guys.
March and April.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, I think we did the rec one again much later because of the meetings that we didn't have, normal
Okay.
meetings.
I think that it's a really busy time for a lot of people, and staff has a lot to close out at the end of the year, so I would be completely okay with canceling December. I will also be in Ireland, so I will not be here.
Yeah, I was thinking people might be gone. So.
Right.
Let us absolve you of your absence. I'll cancel it.
And I
I
appreciate,
won't feel as bad.
I appreciate your comment on not making staff do busy
Yeah,
work. So
it's
we can have-
busy.
Yep.
Everybody's very
It's
busy right
very
now.
busy.
I know that too.
And
Yeah.
there's
I
a lot
don't
of people
wanna- I don't wanna
taking
say
PTO.
I wouldn't characterize it as busy work, but
I
okay,
neither
thank
would
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry.
We don't
I don't
wanna
mean
make
flip
it
but you know.
an extra lift when
Yes.
we don't need it to be an
put
extra
together
lift.
materials when nothing's pressing.
I think reporting out to us
Don't
and the
worry
public
about
is
it.
important, but
Yeah.
yeah. I hear the sentiment though, right, of we're not forcing it. So we have, you're on team, doesn't make much sense, even though you're not gonna be here. That's fine, don't give you the feedback. Anybody else, straw poll here, just like,
I'm on the team of let's get stuff done. Let's pull the stuff, any stuff that we can get done.
right,
That, like,
right.
personally, I get a lot busier in other times of year, and this is my time to reflect. It's winter, time to reflect. Solstice. And if we can pull things, anything that we can pull that gets super busy out there, I would like to do that. I mean, I really want to go ice skating with everybody, but barring that, I would like to pull things from the other months that we can get done. If we can.
Okay.
Without creating busy work for y'all.
I'm kind of in the same league, so thank you for sharing that. I'm not alone. on
What's
that,
our
but
quorum for the meeting?
5.
5, and we are missing. Thomas is not going to be there because we won't have
Did
new
you say
members
that? I'm
yet.
sorry, I missed that.
Isn't Thomas done?
No, not
could
that
be
I
there.
know of, but
Okay.
I don't know that I would necessarily expect him based on the last few.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
just my
So we have
thought.
7. Brandy's gone.
Well, his email kind of hinted he wasn't going to be here next month.
Okay.
I can make it off to call in. I'm traveling for work. I can call in for it to make it happen. Otherwise, we won't have quorum. I'm in favor of canceling it. I feel like we do our best to fill the agenda, and if we don't have anything, we don't have to create it. But
Okay.
that's in your straw poll. That's where I'm at. Also, I'm traveling. I will call in to join if it's to make a quorum.
I appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah,
for doing
yeah.
that. So 2 and 2. No pressure, but you're on the.
I know, right?
Tiebreaker.
Jeez.
What are you thinking?
I didn't mean to use the word busy work. I'm sorry. Just for as staff, I'm always like.
I get what you're
Please don't
saying.
make me pull
I
something
do.
together if we don't
I
have to.
do.
So sorry. I didn't mean to be dismissive. That's. I think I am in favor of canceling.
Okay. Knowing that quorum is a risk.
Knowing the quorum is a risk, knowing that staff is very busy trying to pull things
We
together
don't
at the
have
end
any
of the
other
year.
agenda items.
We don't have any agenda items, anything pressing that we need to act on by the end of the year. I think maybe starting fresh-faced in January with some goal setting for the year, maybe some year review type stuff, at least the beginning of it.
That's what I do. That's what I do in December personally. It's like the goal setting for the year. Like honestly, if you just voted and just said, I just look at the rest of my year's schedule.
Reason we don't want to get too far into that is because we'll have new members and they won't be in
Oh,
December.
that's true.
And so that's why we don't
That's
get
smart.
too far into that.
Right.
The ideas are pertinent, but we don't get into making decisions till the new board sits.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I can make a motion that we cancel the December 8th PrAB meeting.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor? I'm gonna weigh in there. Okay. All those opposed? Staying stronger. Okay.
Yeah.
So passes.
I just
appreciate
look
that.
and I won't be able to make a meeting
second-
for
our second
months
split
after
vote of the
that.
year.
It's going to be so hard.
Oh.
So like that, because I work Monday nights and I'm the only person that can do it. When you're a teacher, you teach.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hard one. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, it's just months.
Well, I'll see you all next year then, I guess, right?
There you go.
Do you need to post anything for that we're canceling the meeting?
We will take care
You'll
of
post
it.
it. Okay.
That's, well, she will.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
She has the skills.
Yes.
Okay. And then items from the board we want to bring up.
2 questions. One, I think easy one. How's it going with interviewing, I guess, based on that? Something you guys are big talk about scheduling is that we have enough applicants to fill the seats?
We do, and I think we're struggling with the second interview, but we will get there, right?
Struggling with time.
And we don't need to interview you.
Right. The question was just, I think back to Dan's question, which I also wonder just about any discussion around Tull and Distal and the county. Maybe you guys can't speak to that, probably not you, but maybe you can. Just of kind of the way the city council meeting ended was kind of clear in some ways, but also like left a lot of questions unanswered. Is that being discussed by staff with the county at all right now? Is there anything being talked about, or is just no news is no news?
That the piece of what the city is talking about in terms of compost or partnering with Boulder County is not my purview. It's not my lane. So
that's David in January.
It's not his lane either.
Yeah, I don't think he would have any.
Because that would be our public works and utilities staff.
Okay, so no news. Okay, that's the question.
But if there's something that changes or is significant, it's something that we could try to let you know about. But yeah, it's that.
I certainly haven't heard of anything that new that we've hadn't heard pop up on our end.
Great.
We have folks that we not in the know, but sorry.
Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. My answers are
no news is good news.
lacking.
I think sometimes you expect us to understand certain things that we don't, so I ask these things. So, for example, the fact that it was a PRAB topic was because of the open space ownership of Distal.
Yeah.
And now that it's not, it's off your radar, is a fine response. I just think we don't want to check these things because, like, Dan came and talked about it. To me, it's not an unresolved topic, but it wasn't clear that there was any decision from the city to do anything other than just wait, I guess, for the county report. And it's just, I think, saying it's not a topic for PRAB is important because we get asked about other people too. So it's now irrelevant to PRAB.
It's a good distinction to make.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Sometimes the finer that type of stuff is complicated and it bears repeating.
Yeah, I think the idea of city land ownership being complex is news to a lot of people, generally, as we learned in the process of that discussion.
And it's not the same with every agency.
Right.
Every agency is different.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Great. Thanks. Yeah, good question. All right. We're out of agenda items. So do you want to just hang out here for 30 minutes?
Nope.
I'll motion to close the meeting.
All right.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor? We are adjourned.
Thank you, Nick.